She literally says, well, I, for one, couldn't help noticing that the male-dominated Wookiee kingdom seems to mirror our own...
Woogie. No, Wookiee.
Oh, shit. You're right.
I was like,
No, I'm sorry. Copyright. And Murphy actually says, well, I, for one, couldn't help noticing that the male-dominated Wookiee... me.
Ready graphics? Ready theme?
Good evening. For your information tonight.
Hi, I'm Jesi Mullins.
And I'm Lauren Milberger.
And this is FYI.
The Murphy Brown Podcast. So how do you sing it? How do you sing our theme song? Like, do you go dee-dee-dee, like...
yeah, I do my
actually-
deets, but I usually dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee to myself. And I always have to, like, look sideways on the dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
And welcome to...
The Season 1 Roundup.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Hey, it's Jesi.
Surprise!
Surprise, we're back earlier than you thought.
We missed you guys.
So much. We like, truly. It's been longer for us since it has been for you. Behind the scenes stuff. And we just felt like maybe a month was a little too long to go without each other. So we're going to do a fun little bonus Season 1 Roundup episode.
Yeah, and I think we're going to probably do this at the end of every season.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was really fun.
We were texting each other about how we were playing it fast and loose with these answers. So we came up with 11 questions that we're going to answer for you, and we couldn't whittle it down to 10, so I'm just going to say that our fandom of Murphy Brown goes up to an 11 on the Spinal Tap scale. I knew Lauren was going to make that face at me.
I love it.
I'm a beautiful weirdo.
But you're my beautiful weirdo.
Thanks, baby.
So what we're going to do is ask each other questions like, who is your favorite regular character this season, so on and so forth. We don't know each other's answers.
Nope.
Aside from what I think some of us suspect of each other if you've listened to the season.
It's a big surprise.
Some of our feelings are very obvious.
Yes.
But yeah, this is going to be a shorter episode. It's fast and loose and fun. And then, should we talk about Season 2?
Yes. So we will be starting Season 2 Monday, September 24th, also known as the new Murphy Brown Premiere Week.
So Season 2 will feature a new format as we venture into unstreamed territory.
So we will be dropping episodes every other week on Mondays.
But keep an eye out, because on certain Thursdays, we might have a little revival coverage.
Maybe.
You know we're watching. We're going to have thoughts that we're going to need to share with you.
Exactly.
And yes, so
Let's go in.
let's set this up right now.
Jesi, you want to take the first question?
All right, so first question is, who was your favorite regular character?
You're asking me first?
Yes.
Okay. So this one is hard because
Obviously.
it's obviously Murphy. And I feel like that isn't a original or detailed answer.
That's
but
okay.
she'll always be my favorite.
Fast and loose.
But I have to say, I've grown a fondness in different ways for other characters as opposed to being sort of a big blob of the other guys.
Yeah, Murphy and then the gang.
Yeah, the gang, that's better. Other guys sound so terrible. I love everybody and I love them individually. But I feel like it's like we were talking about before, I have new glasses. And it's like when I put on my glasses and I had my current actual prescription, I could see everything clearer.
Exactly.
There was definition between the lines.
Yes.
And I appreciate the characters more, even though I love them more. And a lot of that is thanks to you.
Hey now.
Yeah.
Don't make me blush.
I appreciate Corky more.
Yeah.
I appreciate Jim more.
I mean, how can you not?
And seeing this with an adult eye, I appreciate Frank more.
Oh, yes. Yes, we will be talking about that. So, to no one's surprise, my favorite regular character is Mr. Jim Dial. I just love him so much. And I have the same thing. For me, Murphy, she's a titular character. Of course, she is the character. But for me, if I'm going to go with a season regular, it always comes back to Jim. I love meeting Jim this first season, and he just stands out to me. No one's surprised by our answers.
Something I really love, though, is online, as the revival has been announced, realizing how many fans of Jim there are and how upset people are that he's not returning.
I know. And the people who clearly haven't read that yet and are asking us questions, and we're like, I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this news, but he's 81.
No, the worst one is, which I can't even tell people.
When they're asking, is Eldon going to be there?
Yeah, or why isn't Eldon here? I won't watch the show.
Yeah.
And I just can't tell them.
Yep.
They'll figure it out.
They will.
Yeah.
Continuing on.
Who is your favorite guest character, Jesse?
Avery Brown. Mama Avery Brown. She just... And it's not because I know that she comes back later and becomes an even bigger character. It's just her presence shakes things up for Murphy in a way that no other episode does. There's something about meeting the creator and the reason why. And Colleen Dewhurst, man, I can't not love her forever.
I know. And again, I agree with you, Jesse.
I mean, we are just so in sync. What's yours?
Well, I was going to pick Avery, and I had a feeling that you were. Not that that would make me change it.
Of course, we're allowed to have the same answer.
Of course, absolutely. But I felt some of her favorite episodes tend to be
Later.
Yes. So I might save her for maybe my favorite season 3. Just to kind of mix it up.
Sure.
So this is maybe tied, but I wanted to give a different perspective. I have to say Kyle.
Oh, Kyle, I don't know if I remembered him as nuanced as he was.
Yeah, and it's really sort of wonderful to see Leslie Jordan in an early role, and as an actor, just see how much he hasn't changed. That this was the pureness of who he was, and maybe the audience didn't really know who he was yet, but it wasn't that he was bad.
Yep.
It was just that he hadn't been discovered yet by a larger crowd or hadn't found that role. And as character actors, as we talked about on the show, it's really sort of lovely to see he still had it all right there. He just had to find the part that would get him noticed.
He's incredibly inspiring from a performer's perspective. And I was just having this conversation with someone about the incredible power and advantage you have truly knowing who you are and how you don't fit in and how that can serve you. He is so unabashedly himself, and he made a career out of it instead of trying to make himself anything but. And it's beautiful. Bye. So Lauren, who was your favorite secretary of season 1?
I kind of have a tie.
Okay.
It's really hard.
Okay.
So it's a cross between our friend Marianne from Baby Love
I mean,
and Robert.
here's what's funny. I have the same thing written down.
Of course you do.
When I was looking for, spoiler, we're going to talk about our favorite lines later. One of the lines that stood out to me was just Marianne Miller-Liley's secretary screaming to Frank as he enters and screaming everything to everyone. And I just could not stop laughing. Obviously, I feel like we could split this. I feel like you can take Marianne and I'll take Robert.
Okay.
And I feel like that
We're
works.
done.
Because we
Great.
agree.
Okay.
Robert,
Yes.
Marianne, they're the two that I remember.
The only
off the top of my head.
Robert, the only secretary to get a full arc, 3 episodes, the trilogy of Robert, really.
The greatest trilogy ever made.
Yeah.
And Marianne, she's just, and we find more and more reasons through other actors that we speak to and so on that she's just as great of a person to know as she was as a performer. And there's a reason she stands out for that secretary.
Jesse, which relationship was your favorite?
Oh, this was hard. Oh, this one was
So
really
hard. So hard.
Intellectually, I immediately wrote down Murphy and Corky because I was so struck by that. And I was like, well, intellectually, like, this is the one that mattered so much to me by the final episode. However, it's Murphy and Jim for me. Seeing the first slugger, seeing at the end of Soul Man, there's just something about it that was just such a beautiful rock. I just adore their relationship so much, and I couldn't pick another one. How about yours?
Yeah, mine didn't really change. I said Frank and Murphy. I just really loved their relationship, and I felt like I could see so much more layers. We don't have as big neurotic Frank as eventually we'll have as he gets older. There's a quality to their friendship that is stronger later, but is different than I remember, and I really, really love it still.
Yeah.
Then I, as a second thought, wrote down Miles and Murphy. But since we've already recorded the first episode of season 2, I think maybe Murphy and Miles might be my season 2. We'll see. But gotta stick.
I think for you, from what you're saying, it's kind of similar to how I was like, well, Corky and Murphy, because of those arcs that we talked about at the end in the morning show. But yeah, it's the heartstrings that the relationships really get. I can see that. I feel like what you're saying about Frank and Murphy's relationship is, for me, kind of what you did with Avery Brown. With, like, she'll be your favorite
Yeah.
guest character later, I feel like their relationship might be my favorite relationship later.
Yeah. So my thoughts haven't changed. They've just been made richer.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Lauren, which character surprised you?
Corky?
Yeah.
And again, that is thanks to you, Jesse.
No.
I saw a lot of things in Corky that I didn't see before. I saw a lot more dimensions. I mean, I think a lot of this also has to do with the fact that I am an adult watching it and I'm not a child.
Yep.
But I really, the great thing about this podcast is that we are looking at it with new eyes, where we might not even looked at it as adults, but because we're doing a podcast on it. And so doing so and listening to your thoughts on Corky completely changed my thoughts about her, and I'm a better person for it.
Oh, thanks, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Similarly, when you say, being Murphy's age and watching this, for me, I'm the in-between Corky and Murphy. Mm-hmm. And so it's weird being older than Corky and watching this, and I'm feeling very protective of her. I'm surprised at the investment I have in Corky, and like I almost put her as my favorite regular character, like that she almost took Jim's spot.
Well, wow.
Which I was not prepared for. However, I've become accustomed to my intense Corky love. So the character that I wrote that surprised me, probably no surprise to you, is Miles. Season 1 Miles really surprised me, and not in the best way.
Yeah, I like that. I was thinking going forward in a positive way, and that's such a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I was not expecting to have the reaction I did. I also, and part of that is I really enjoyed that I found myself disliking him, because it shows how much growth his character has. And it makes me really excited to watch the Miles I'm more familiar with going forward, and have that kind of new eye. It really gave me, that was my newest eye to the show, I would say.
Nice.
Is my eye on Miles.
Okay. What episode did you think would be your favorite, and did that change?
So yes, I thought going in that my favorite episode would be Summer of 77, episode 20. It wasn't. My favorite episode was Mama Said, episode 15. It just really, I knew I loved Avery and Murphy's relationship to the point that I almost made it my favorite relationship. But as an adult woman watching this and watching the way that your relationship with your family affects you past being a child, it really opened up a lot of doors for me, considering my family and our interactions, and Murphy in particular, that she's still her mother's daughter at the end of the day. I felt a lot of kinship with her in that moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
I also went in thinking that Summer of 77 was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I also realize now that many of the scenes in it are my favorite because I'm on another plane.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be talking more about that in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's Soul Man.
Oh, I love Soul Man so much.
And I don't know if it's because of how in depth we went in our episode and things that we learned. The line is really blurred, because it's one of my favorite episodes of our podcast as well. But I love the relationship with her and Jim. I love what it's saying about society then and unfortunately today.
Yep.
So it's a great combination of a message and a really funny episode. Mm-hmm. And so, I think that's my favorite now.
That episode is the reason why Murphy and Jim's relationship is my favorite.
Yeah, it's so great.
Soul Man is incredible. Maybe for the future we should have a question of what's our favorite podcast episode.
Oh, yes.
That's very different.
Oh, I like that.
I would agree that Soul Man is up there.
Yeah.
So what episode surprised you, Lauren?
Well, this was hard. I think it's the morning show, but my first thought was to moments that surprised me, not necessarily episodes that surprised me. And so my gut, again, we're going with our first gut reactions, was Corky's scene on Moscow on the Potomac, when she comes up to the two of them and just reprimands them for not getting along. And it changed my whole idea of the episode and my thoughts on it.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. I originally thought it was going to be the episode that surprised me. I was really between Devil with the Blue Dress On and Morning Show for similar reasons, because of the arc of the women. But I ended up putting, I really thought back on when we discussed the episodes, and Moscow on the Potomac was the episode that I was like, I really didn't think that I liked this episode that much. And I ended up liking it so much more than I remembered, because of the new eyes that I have as an adult woman. And watching, and especially, I think it feels really relevant right now to me as well.
Yeah.
But that episode really surprised me.
Jesse, which episode would you like to see remade today?
Set Me Free.
Oh,
And again, another episode that surprised me, watching that, I can't watch that episode with the same eyes I used to. I know retroactively how amusing and funny that episode was. I can't find it funny today.
yeah.
And so what I would really like to see, if I was going to pick an episode from season 1 for the revival to tackle a similar conversation, it would be that one. The gunman on the set is one of the ones that weirdly feels the most dated to me. Because we just couldn't do it today that way.
Yeah, and we talked about that. Absolutely. For me, it's Soul Man. Mm-hmm. Because as I found it in my research, it's still happening.
Yep.
And to have Murphy once again go up against the patriarchy in the same way she did 30-odd years ago.
Smash it. Just keep smashing it.
Would be interesting to me.
Yeah, the hydra that is the patriarchy is still going. So, Lauren, what were your top 3 outfits?
Oh, it's so hard.
I know.
It's really hard.
This was the most fast and loose. I was like, oh, good God, I don't know.
And though I say not in any particular order, number 1 is the red jacket, the huntress jacket, the red one with the black collar.
It's our logo.
It's our logo. We can't not love it. She looks fantastic in it in the pilot. It's iconic to me. And red is Murphy red. I mean, she's wearing red in the revival trailers. That's the one that stands out for me. My number 2 is the mustard colored jacket in the opening, I Would Have Danced All Night. The collar up. Love it with the gold jewelry. And then, this is so hard. I think my third one is the wrap coat from the Einstein episode. Yeah, sort of that blush color. Like, it's not really white, but it has like a coat tie in the pants. And then special mention for the Christmas outfit because of the gloves, the green gloves.
So.
Yeah, Jesse.
For me, again, it was a similar thing with like picking a favorite regular character. Murphy, duh. For me, the huntress jacket was kind of a duh. Yeah. So I didn't pick it. Haha. Also, because I kind of figured you were going to pick it, so I knew we were going to get a mention in there. And then again, this is in no particular order, but because you just said it, the end of Murphy's Pony, in that, I have my quote from my notes from that episode, Murphy outfit, the gray knee skirt, the black blazer with the silver buttons, the white blouse with the brooch, the black hose, the poncho blanket scarf draped and thrown over her shoulders, and those green leather gloves with the burgundy shoes. I just can't handle it. It's so good. And also comes back the next episode almost in full. To me, that is Murphy's like fashion forward modern woman outfit, and I love it so much. I had to give a shout out to Corky Outfits because I feel like we think a lot about Murphy's clothing, but Corky has some great stuff. And there's that outfit in episode 4, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, where Corky's wearing a long sleeved blue dress with a matching belt, with a red scarf and a gold brooch, and these just gray pumps. And I remember that was one of the first times in our podcast where I was like, I would wear that today. And I just love that outfit. My final third outfit.
Yes.
So much like the negative surprise, I'm going to go for not a fashion-forward moment and a funny outfit, which is the Fez outfit from Mama Said. I love
it. Is great.
That moment of fashion when she and Mama Avery walk out in those outfits and she has that horrible hat on. It is so good. I love watching Murphy be uncomfortable.
Same. What was your favorite line?
Ooh, this was hard.
It was super hard.
Okay, so I almost went through all of my recaps to find every time I wrote down a full Jim monologue or every time I wrote down my favorite just one-liner that I knew going in. There are so many honorable mentions as far as those great one-liners we all know, even if we don't know what episode they're from. However,
yes,
I stopped myself.
You did.
And I just wrote down the first line that I could think of.
Yes.
Which was from Soul Man. I have better things to do, but I want to tell you something. I think you're petty, I think you're small, and your zipper's down. Ha, made you look.
Nice.
To me, that is the Murphy that I aspire to be. It's the Murphy that I freaking love, and it's why I love this show. It is a moment of utter dramatic clarity and and efficiency, use of words, and something that really cuts someone in such a way that they cannot ignore what you just said, followed by a childish moment of humor. Mm-hmm. And I love it.
Mine is, she thinks Camus is a soap.
Yeah.
It's been mine for it's my favorite line of the entire series.
It's amazing.
My favorite line ever. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't change.
I knew what was coming.
Yeah, I think you knew.
And finally, what was your favorite cold open?
So, again, sort of without thinking, Devil with the Blue Dress. It's so fun. It's something that everyone does. You know, you sing to the music as you get ready for the day, and you tap your feet. And I love the fact that I originally had thought that it was, you know, two people. It was actually just Corky. It's just fun. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, I'm sure that there's one that I'll think of after we record this that I like even better, but that one's just fun.
Oh, I the entire time I was answering these questions, I was like, I'm going to change my mind on all of these things later when I suddenly remember something. But I had to go with, again, first thought, best thought, my favorite cold open is Jim and Soul Man.
Yeah.
Jim coming in, bopping to the music, doing his little routine, and immediately, damn. It's just perfect.
It is really good.
And those are our questions.
Yeah. Goodbye, Season 1.
Goodbye, Season 1.
Hello, Season 2.
Hello, Brother Silverberg.
Season 2, Episode 1, written by Diane English. And we will actually be joined again for the Brothers Silverberg with...
Barnett Kellman.
Yes.
You know that guy. He directed and created the visual world of Murphy Brown.
Exactly. So you should definitely join us September 24th as you gear up to see Murphy Brown back on CBS, September 27th.
9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
When Murphy Brown returns to CBS.
We're so excited to watch with you guys. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Dan Quayle, Dan Quayle, Dan Quayle, Dan Quayle.